The February 27th meeting of the Environmental and Public Works Committee will now come to order. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Broth. Here. Chairwoman Boyce.
Here.
Mr. Brew. Here. Ms. DeFlorio.
Here.
Mr. Flagler-Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Howland.
Here.
Mr. Marinetti.
Here.
Next item on the agenda is the public forum. Is there anyone signed up to speak at the public forum? Seeing none, there's nobody signed up. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. You have the January 23rd, 2017 minutes of the Environmental Public Works before you. They will stand approved unless if you notify the clerk before the end of the workday. New business, Mr. Clerk.
Referral 17-0062.
Moved by Legislator Brew, seconded by Legislator DeFlorio. Any discussion on the item? Yes, Legislator Broth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the administration, have any of these 5 projects commenced yet?
Through the chair, yes.
And through the chair of the administration, could you tell me which ones, please?
Through the chair, the state-funded projects are specifically the hangar, what is the Monroe County Airport Authority hangar. Design work has been done for that. That's a approximately $428,000 grant from the state that came from the state 2015-2016 budget. And the next one is forthcoming in a matter of importance to this body in a few minutes, I hope, will be the large state grant, which is about $40 million for the upstate airport revitalization initiative. In addition, any state grants that are the 5% share of federal projects would be included under this agreement.
Thank you. So through the chair of the administration, from what I understand, though, of the 5 projects listed, only the one hangar project's actually commenced thus far. Or did I misunderstand you through the chair?
Through the chair, that is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. And then finally, through the chair of the administration, I think I know the answer, but I'll ask. Are any of these listed projects in the current CIP? And if so, which ones, through the chair?
Through the chair, every project in this is included in the county CIP.
As I said, I suspect I knew. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda.
Referral 17-0063.
Moved by Legislator DeFlorio, second by Legislator Howland. Discussion. Mr. Broth.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, what other consultants were considered for these services?
Through the chair, we had 6 firms express interest in this contract. Barton LaJudas, Bergman Associates, Fisher Associates, the Cedra Corporation, Day Engineering, and MRB Group.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 17-0064.
Moved by Legislator Howland, seconded by Legislator Marinetti. Any questions? Legislator Brock.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I have a couple questions here. Regarding the supplemental support that we'll be receiving from this company. Who has provided the supplemental support in past years for the Department of Environmental Services?
Through the chair, we previously had this same engineering term service contract, and C.J. Brown provided services under that contract.
Thank you. As a follow-up, through the chair, how long has C.J. Brown been providing this supplemental service?
Through the chair, the prior term services was for a total of 5 years.
5 years. Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, I had a question about supplemental work. Is that supplemental work typically done for work that is either considered routine and easy to pass off, or is it work that's considered more specialist-centered and more difficult to perform and might require more hours on the part of our DES staff? How is that supplemental work farmed out is what I'm asking, through the chair.
Through the chair, I believe you're referring to the term where we say we supplement staff.
Correct.
Just to be clear, supplemental work is not a defined term of work or defined piece of work. To answer your question, it can be both, depending on the nature of our workload and the prioritization. Typically, we handle routine, day-to-day activities, and we bring in a consultant with this skill set and expertise and experience for more complex projects, more complex assessments and evaluations in which we would need such services.
Thank you. And as I'm hesitant to say it's a final question, but as a final topic, my question regards when we speak about the services being provided by these supplemental workers, is there any way of determining or being aware of which the pure water districts are actually, in fact, paying for those services or being charged back for those services provided? Through the chair.
Through the chair, yes, there is, but that presumes that the work is specific to Pure Waters, and that is not the case. In fact, a lot of the energy term work that we do is for general county facilities.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, about how much is for the general county? The general county is charged for that, and about how much is for the pure water districts? Through the chair.
Through the chair, I don't have a breakdown of assignments over the last term. I'd be happy to provide that, but I know recent assignments have included assistance with our energy performance contracts at the Civic Center Complex, at the Monroe County Jail, at the jail mainframe, also peer review of some of the retro commissioning work with building management system controls throughout the county. So again, just to give you a general flavor for it. But again, I'm happy to provide that information through the administration, through the chair.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. So I would like to see that. And finally, through the chair of the administration, I know that this for the contracts for 1 year for energy services is about $100,000. How does that compare to the budgeted amount for energy services for the Department of Environmental Services? Through the chair.
Through the chair, Environmental Services manages, off the top of my head, over a couple $100 million in capital engineering projects for the county at large. Again, I don't have a specific number, but be happy to provide that.
Thank you. Very much appreciate that. That's my last question.
Yes. Legislative Brew.
Through the chair to the administration, in the past years when these vendors have been under contract with the county, have they been provided an expectation of savings dollars expected by the county for their services?
Through the chair, I'm sorry, maybe a point of clarification. Are you asking if they're guaranteed an amount of work from the county?
No, my question is they are providing energy services. My assumption it would be for the purpose of providing the county with some energy savings projects. Is that correct to the chair?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
And those energy savings projects normally would have a dollar amount of savings associated with those. Through the chair.
Through the chair, that's correct.
My question, I guess, boils down to, through the chair, is that the money that we're spending for these vendors, are they providing savings back to the county that exceed the expenditure that the county is paying to contract these two vendors?
Through the chair, I guess I would answer that question as best I can in this way. This particular firm that previously held the contract, C.J. Brown, did do some peer review evaluation of the recent $13.5 million Civic Center Energy Performance contract. That contract is going to save several $100,000 annually, which is then going to be used per the energy performance contract model to pay for the costs of the project. So it's no net out-of-pocket cost of the county, and we weren't required then to bond that money up front. So they're saving us in that one instance alone several $100,000 annually. We didn't roll the $100,000 annual cost of their contract into that, but I think it would be fair to say that the value of their services in that one instance alone far outweighed the annual expenditure. And I do want to be clear, this does not guarantee either of these two firms any amount of work, nor does it obligate us to spend the entire $100,000 annual authorization, simply a maximum ceiling limit from which we can assign them various assignments and tasks.
Thank you. And through the chair, so would you see an eventual termination of the contract with this type of services that would coincide with the term of the energy savings services that were previously implemented that are actually reaping the savings dollars presently to the county?
Through the chair, I would say no, that we would propose the use of this contract so long as there's potential energy savings out there in and amongst the various assets and facilities that we're responsible for. And of course, that's a kind of a changing marketplace with changing technology, changing opportunities. So we recommend we continue to have a contract with an energy expert that can assist us in those endeavors as we move forward.
Through the chair, thank you. Yeah, and I guess just to sum up my desire is that the county is engaging in contracts that, number one, provide energy savings to the county, but number two, provide a viable economical model to the county as well, and that the monies expended are less than the money that the county is realizing in energy savings year over year. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Brew. I just have a minor question with regards to the language used, and I don't remember seeing this before, but in paragraph 1, under where it says additional 1-year extension escalations on the 2 blah blah blah, is that standard with these contracts?
Through the chair, yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. I guess we have to vote. I was moving on. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda, please.
Referral 17-0066.
Moved by Legislator Brew, seconded by Legislator DeFlorio. Any discussion? Yes, Legislator DeFlorio.
Yes, through the chair, I noticed in terms of the bid amounts, there was approximately $1 million difference between the high and low bid. Do you have any, or know of any reason for that difference?
Through the chair, for point of clarification, are you referring to this, the plumbing contract?
Yes,
Construction contract?
sorry, yes. I'm on the right one, correct?
You are.
Okay.
Through the chair, thank you. Yeah, it's not atypical for bid amounts to vary depending on, the risk-reward, market conditions, and the specific vendor's bidding, depending on their business model, their current workload. It's a pretty healthy swing, for sure, between the 3 bidders. We typically take notice when we have 2 grouped near, in this case, near $6 million, with the low being significantly lower. That can be cause for further evaluation. We do, as a standard practice, bid review and tabulation and conduct conversations with the prospective bidders. And in this instance, we're very comfortable with Blue Heron's bid at $5.1 million.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Legislator Flagler Mitchell.
How you doing, Madam Chair?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yes. Through you, Madam Chair, to the administration. This phase will cost just under $6 million as bid. Given the range in the bid, is the Blue Heron one responsible? Through you, Madam Chair, to the administration.
Through the chair, yes, we believe it is. The plumbing construction contract was far and away the largest contract bid. It had an original engineer's estimate of just over $4 million. So certainly a bid of 5 is, I guess, order of magnitude in the ballpark for that construction contract. By comparison, the electrical construction engineer's estimate was nearly I think it was $330,000. So the bids received were on par with what was expected, and conversely, the HVAC construction bids were also on par with the engineer's estimate.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. And through you, Madam Chair, to the administration. When will this phase begin? When is it planned?
Through the chair, with the hopeful passage through these committees and the legislative meeting in a couple of weeks, typically takes us about 6 to 8 weeks to execute contracts through the standard county process. So we would issue notice to proceeds in and around early May.
Okay. And through you, Madam Chair, will any women and minorities be hired to work on this phase?
Through the chair, yes, we will require the county standard guidelines of 12% MBE and 3% WBE.
Okay. And one more question, Madam Chair. When is this phase expected to be completed? I'm sorry, phase 11A. Through you, Madam Chair.
Through the chair, I apologize, I don't have the specific calendar dates for construction. I believe it's expected to be completed by second quarter of 2018.
Okay, thank you. And through you, Madam Chair, the very last question. Through you, Madam Chair, to the administration, is there any way we could get a copy of the MWBE contractors or what the numbers is for the minority workers on the project when that happens? Through you, Madam Chair.
Through the chair, yes, we can provide final MWBE utilization upon completion of the project.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
And I also have just another question, as Legislator DeFlorio had asked with regards to the plumbing contract, there being a $1 million gap between the first and the second respondent. Well, I guess, $1 million is a lot of money. And I'm just wondering, like the different kinds of, I guess, supplies they have to use, that's all very specified, I'm assuming, right? When you put out the RFP, like a certain kind of, I don't know, whatever you'd use, piping or whatever. I'm not a plumber, so I won't even begin to even think, but, is there, how do you, really, $1 million is, if they're using specific items.
Through the chair, yes.
You really feel confident that they're not going to come back to us and say, we messed up?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda.
Referral 17-0081.
Moved by Legislator DeFlorio. And seconded by Legislator Howland. I see your appointments on here. Okay, all right. Any questions? Yes, Legislator Broth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I must say congratulations to my colleague over there. And I'll, of course, vote in the affirmative. You have no concerns. I have two questions, actually, and one is, would it be possible to receive a copy of Mr. Gibson's resume prior to the full-fledged meeting so we can actually review that resume prior to the appointment vote through the chair?
These are reappointments.
Through you, Madam Chairwoman, we'd be happy to provide this, although I'll note that this is a reappointment, and I believe his resume was included when he was originally appointed.
Yes, through the chair. Even a brief summary would be helpful. I'm not trying to be difficult. Just, perhaps I saw it before, but I certainly don't recall. And through the chair to the administration, one final question is: how many members comprise the full board?
Through you, Madam Chair, we're looking it up. If it takes much longer, we'll get back to you with the answer.
I doubt it's a secret, so.
No.
No. Is there one for every fish in the?
Well, we'll get back to you as soon as we're able to pull it up.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. I guess if there's no further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, don't tell them that.
Next item on the agenda.
Referral 17-0085, authorization to enter.
Moved by Legislator Marionetti, seconded by? By Legislator DeFlorio. Thank you. Yes. Questions? Yes, Legislator DeFlorio.
Through the chair, can you please explain why this is a matter of importance?
Through you, Madam Chair, the state is anxious to get the project going. We had signed up for a timeline that was aggressive per state mandate to receive the grant, and it requires authorization from this honorable body to receive the grant, and we're ready to proceed.
Through you, Madam Chair, as anxious as the state is to award us the grant, we're anxious to receive it as well.
Any further questions? Yes, Legislator Barak.
Thank you. And far be it for me to make the anxiousness worse. As one brief question through the chair, what department or fund center is the local share going to come from?
Through you, Madam Chair, the Monroe County Airport Authority will cover the local share of costs of this project.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, do you have a broad, a rough estimate of what that local share is going to be?
Through you, Madam Chair, the grant application, the $54 million total that we had submitted for the project, the 39.8 is from the state. A good portion, and I don't have those proportions with me right now, they're in the grant application. It's public knowledge. It's on the state DOT website. It was part of our grant application. The passenger facility charge, which is part of the Airport Authority's capital program, is a good portion of the remaining $13 or $14 million in the project, and then I believe the local share is less than half of that. So, just roughly $3 million is local share of the entire $54 million program.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I just want to, as a chair, Mr. Giardino, I would like to congratulate you and your team on this. I mean, this is a really wonderful project that we're going to move forward with. And I don't know if this is an appropriate time, but sometime down the line, if you could bring, I guess, the plans and some of the things that you're going to be doing to this committee, if that might be a possibility through the administration.
Through you, Madam Chairwoman, we'd be happy to come and make a presentation to this committee and any other committee that has jurisdiction over the project. I think that we would ask to wait sufficient time as to when we're currently doing design and engineering work, and some of those things are a little bit in flux, but as soon as we have that, they're ready, we can have some not only information to provide, but visuals to indicate exactly what the product will look like when the project is over.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? Seeing none. Geez. Our next committee meeting for the Environmental Public Works will be on March the 27th at 5:45 p.m. Thank you.